straight for you. I'm going home, rolling over my shotgun, way by the door and light a cigarette. He wants to buy well, now he's got one, and he ain't seen me crazy yet. Slap my face and shoot me like a rag doll, and that sound like a real man. I'm gonna show him what the world's made of. Come hammer and lead.
Well, anyone would admit that I chose some interesting music for this one, but in today's Pittsburgh Tribune review, one of their featured reporters wrote a story about the NRA taking women off target. Okay, well, that sounds like an interesting title, seeing how the NRA has a program called Women on Target. Okay, so, alright. And basically, in this article, the gentleman goes on to make some pretty misogynistic, stereotypical assumptions. He assumes that women rather buy lipstick and go to day spas than go to the range or be gun owners. Says something about hearing protection not being sexy, and something about the smell of black powder, or the smell of gunpowder, not being so wonderful either, and how women rather spend $700 at a day spa than $700 on a serviceable weapon. Well, okay, those could be some females that agree with that, but I find at least a large majority of the people I know and women I know find that a good facial, a pedicure, and getting the manicure is not going to stop a rapist, and more than likely won't stop them from being robbed. In fact, all those physical enhancements may tend to increase their chances of sexual assault. But that's just, a thought. And this gentleman continues this mantra all through his rather lengthy and cumbersome article on the subject of women and firearms, and why women would want to be gun owners and concealed carry holders, and etc. Now, I know, and I can only speak from personal experience, my wife has several firearms, plus myself having several firearms, and just for the record, I do find her hearing protection sexy, especially if she doesn't happen to be wearing anything else but her hearing protection. So, nevertheless, moving along. My wife has been on the range with me several times. I've never felt safer in my life. My wife is a very good shot with some of her Glock firearms, not to promote Glock in general. She finds the German eye sights to be absolutely wonderful. I, on the other hand, find them absolutely annoying. But that's just me. Men and women have differences. She finds that her Glocks and some of the other guns fit her hands, and she enjoys the ergonomics of them much better than I do. I would never tell anyone that a Glock 26 was my idea of a haha or a fun time at the range. Now, my wife might, but nevertheless, though, I am fairly outraged and insulted on behest of my wife. I feel as though this gentleman's article is, or would be, very stereotypical of a 1940s article one might read. Why should a woman own a gun when she has a man? Type of thing. Why should she own a gun when she can go buy a bottle of perfume, get a facial, a pedicure, and maybe a hot rock massage? Why would, a woman be interested in such manly things? To me, it sounds like this particular gentleman is not really dealt with a modern female or refuses to deal with modern females. And moreover, and more likely, I would question his testicular fortitude. And I would think that he tends to question his own manhood. Maybe he has a bad case of penal envy for other males and isn't comfortable with his own manhood, so therefore he feels he must demagogue and downgrade and degrade females in general in order to achieve his male superiority, or his masculinity complex needs soothed. I have no doubts of these things. Maybe the gentleman is actually old enough to remember the 40s, which is quite possible. Though I understand the World War II generation is passing away at an alarming rate. So I doubt he's been around quite that long. But at the same time, there's obviously something incredibly wrong here when a male finds it necessary to feel threatened by a female doing the same work, same activities as he or she may indulge in, or in this gentleman's case, may write about. So that's my opinions on the issue. I feel as though he feels his manhood is challenged if he goes to the range, or even if he's ever seen a range in his entire life. I know for sure he's talked about in this article the NRA annual meetings. I can honestly tell you I've been to, this is going on my second one. So I've been to one prior to this, and I'm going to be at this one. There is no lack of females there. And I can honestly tell you, even though I'm 100% faithful to my own wife, there is no lack of exceptionally and extraordinarily sexy women there. I've walked through convention halls in Charlotte and the exhibits, and have even found myself talking shop with female representatives from varying firearm companies. I've never felt a need to be misogynistic. I've never felt a need to downgrade them because they represent firearm companies. I've never felt a need to talk down to them. I don't talk to them like they're idiots, as this gentleman has obviously chosen to do. Maybe because I'm secure enough in my manhood, I don't have to downgrade, or degrade a woman to make myself feel superior, to make myself feel like a man. But this gentleman obviously does. And as such, I would tend to not look at him as a man. I would tend to look at him as more of a coward. And, one that is afraid of a modern society, afraid of women with power or authority. Maybe that's the problem there as well. Maybe his boss is female and he feels a need to find a way to downgrade or demagogue women because of that. He's afraid of a woman being in a position of authority over him because he's afraid he can't be masculine enough at that point. But at the annual meeting that I went to, there were multitudes of, like in the thousands of female firearm owners. There is, I believe, last NRA figure I saw something to the effect of 80 million firearm owners in the United States, and something like a full 1/3 of those are women. So I don't think this gentleman's comments in the Tribune Review are even relevant or even need to be granted a whole lot of attention. They warrant response in the fact that they are so outlandish and absurd and ludicrous that they needed to be responded to. On behalf of every female, they need to be responded to. And I think it is that every woman should write to the Tribune Review, asking them how they could put such a misogynistic piece in their paper. Asking them if they don't believe in the 19th Amendment. Maybe they should be asked if they rather see women in the dark ages barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen. After all, probably according to this gentleman, from what I can extrapolate from his article, that's where they belong. They should be pampered creatures, and they should let men run out to fight their battles for them and protect them. Well, that's about all I'm going to say on this subject, because truthfully, after reading the article, I feel quite ill, and I'm finding it hard to stomach and finding it even harder to keep my dinner down, because this kind of puke and venom just makes me want to go be ill. So, my name's Fred, and I'm one of the bloggers here at Rots and Shots. I welcome all commentary, opinions, viewpoints, complaints, definitely complaints, and I'm hoping this gentleman has an opportunity to sit down and listen to my blog and does complain to me, because I would like to have a really good back and forth with him. But anyway, as I said, my name's Fred, and I'm one of the bloggers here at Rots and Shots. You guys have a great evening, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a good night.